We are live.
Welcome to week 3 of Black Prose Club's Book Summit,
Yes.
where we are just shook. Everything's a lie. And
Stop. Brittany, you can't start like that. Okay, let's do our intro. Welcome to Black Prose Book Club, where Black lives, Black books, and Black authors have always mattered. We are your hosts. I'm Oshale of Oshi Reads.
I'm Brittany from Melanin Eclectic, and we are reading We Are Dying Gods by C.M. Lockhart, which is the second book in the We Are the Origin series. Troy Nicole's not here with us because she is still on book 1 and she cannot have spoilers because
Yes,
we
she
enjoy
can't.
having her reactions to book 1 in the chat.
Yes, her reactions are always top tier. Tonight we are discussing chapters 12 through 16, where I just don't know how much more I can take. I mean, when we were doing our reading sprint on Tuesday night, I mean, my life was in shambles. I think I blacked out at one point, and when I came back to, I was like, had to reread a whole chapter because I was like, I know that. No, 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 don't tell me you are the father. Like, what is happening? But
It's
before we skip ahead,
yeah, I was gonna say what's funny is I looked back, I was looking at the reading sprint, and what I didn't realize is that Ben had posted in the chat Daddy's Home.
he
And
did,
for
he
some reason
did.
that made me think about Usher, but now I realize that's why
Yes.
he wrote it, and I'm like,
Now you
oh,
know why. Now you know why. But let's rewind. We're going to start with chapter 12. So at the
yes.
beginning of chapter 12, we open up in Roth's domain. We're in the Queen's Tower. It's 3 days before the opening ceremony. And unfortunately, we
It's
are still
Sarah being
dealing with
Sarah.
Sarah's situation and her utter failure at just, life.
I think the part, okay, so because this whole section, I was like, I'm tired of Sarah, but also, how many times do people have to tell you that you are useless? Like, why is everyone, in every time it's in Sarah's chapters, there is somebody reminding her that she's useless?
I just don't understand Sarah because it's like this is the same person who did have a little bit of courage to like run away with her
Right.
brother and hide and like survive until a certain point in time when she then needed protection from Brandy.
Didn't
So I
Yeah, she had all that skill and stuff to woo Kyle. I'm like, so either Kyle is a dud dummy or like she had something back then.
or she just like used up all of her survival skills. Maybe she was in survival mode for that time period, and then once she knew she had someone to protect her, i.e. Brandy, Noble, etc., she just started to slack or something. I'm not really sure, or she just got comfortable. I don't know, but Sarah just gives me the energy of someone who feels like someone is always coming to save them and they haven't woken up to the fact that they have to save themselves. I do think she starts to wake up in this part, like towards
Yeah,
the
I,
end. I do
I
think
do feel
she's
like she finally starts like getting the picture, but it's just like, girl, this has been your like you have been a fugitive your whole life,
your whole
but you
life.
operate in this realm of like, I only know what somebody tells me. I have no desire to know more. I have no desire to ask questions. Like, I just do as I'm told. Except for this section. In this section, she finally starts to ask questions,
Yeah.
which my life was on the line. That's another thing. It's like like her self preservation. Like, she knows that if she messes this up, she's going to die.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I think in her subconscious mind she still feels like Brandy will save her from her fate. But it wasn't until I do think that after she kind of had that come to Jesus meeting with Mara, and then she also had another come to Jesus meeting. Wasn't there like another
Her and Sal had a
talk?
conversation
Yes.
too.
She
Yeah.
and Sal had a conversation. She and Mara had a conversation. I do feel that after her conversation with Mara, she kind of started to realize, okay, I need to start figuring out what I've gotten myself into. I need to know the rules. I need to know the history. I need to
But
know what's going on.
I will say, I am confused Well, not even confused. I'm more so under the thing of like, so if Sal and Mara are the advisors and they're all working under Brandy's plan, and in Brandy's plan, they need Sarah to like be on it. I do wonder why they just was like, well, girl, you didn't ask, so we didn't tell you. Because again, I'm like, Sarah is the key to whatever y'all got planned. I know I'm gonna be shook when the plan is finally revealed because this book has done a really good job of not even really telling us what the plan is.
Well, here's the
So
thing. I think that at least from what I'm reading, this is what I'm getting. I'm getting that Brandy is so overwhelmed with everything that's been going on in her personal life and all the revelations and all the emotional
I feel your
things that
pain,
she's
Brandy.
having to deal with. I honestly just don't feel like saving the realm is that high in priority for her. I feel like it's more of a burden and she's just like, I mean, I guess I have to do this.
Well, it's not
I
even
guess.
saving the realm; it's demolishing the queendom. That's the only thing she's doing because of the
Well,
deal that she made. That's what I thought. But again, like I said, I feel like everything's a lie. So
but
everything I thought,
demolishing
this
the
is
kingdom
relevant.
is a part of saving the realm. It's like a subplot. It's like a sub. It's like section A. It's like okay, but it's like an offshoot off
So
of
it's like
saving the
basically
realm.
like step one, overthrow
Yes,
the queendom.
yes, and I feel like I mean to me that's how it's reading. I don't know how it's reading to anyone else. It just doesn't read like she gives a shit. Like she's just kind of like I mean I guess I have
Well, I
to.
thought
Like
she
I
had
guess.
already made a point to say that she didn't give a shit because remember, she put the decision in Jack's hands. She was like, if you want us to do this, I mean, I guess we can, but I don't give a fuck. Is I thought we had already established that she does not care.
But and it's very like that's how it comes across to me because she's not very involved in the plan. She gave everybody their roles. She was like, okay, you are gonna challenge for the throne. You are gonna be the advisor. You're gonna be an advisor. You need to look into like all the laws and da 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 da. Da. And she was just like, all right, break. Let's reconvene. Like she don't care.
I mean, I am genuinely giving Brandy grace here because I feel like her entire reality was cracked wide open, flipped upside down, and like thrown across the thrown out of a mountain. Because every time we get to a Brandy scene, she and I are both clutching pearls.
I know it's always something like horrible, and you're just like, God, why? But
So,
I do feel like Mara did a great job of just being like, look, you are a disappointment and you need to wake up and you need to realize what's at stake here. And you just need to care a little bit more because your life is the one that's on the line. Like, I don't understand why
yes.
you are so uninterested in knowing like something that literally is life and death for you. And I feel like it did wake her up.
Yeah, it took her a long time to get there, but I feel like we might have gotten like I'm not even gonna say it's a point where I'm like, oh my god, maybe I might end up liking Sarah. It's to the point where I'm like, oh hello, Sarah. Welcome to the game. I'm glad that you decided to be a player instead of a
Hmm.
spectator. Welcome.
Yeah, she finally woke
Because
up. So I do appreciate Mara for having that conversation with her. Then you have that whole like super cringy scene where she oh wait, no, you have the after that, then she meets what's her face?
Pine,
Pine shows up. I always forget her
which
name.
I love Pine still. We'll point that out. Like I still love her.
I don't know how I feel about Pine.
Pine really operates under this whole like I do what the fuck I want when I want to thing, and I just really love that about her because in this realm, who really gets to do that?
That's true. That's true. I guess I don't feel as attached to her and I don't know as much about her as I do the other characters cuz she just kind of is in and out. Um, I did find it interesting that okay, so Pine comes back, her and Noble have a moment, which just like drives Sarah insane, which I feel kind of bad for
Because
Sarah.
again, Sarah is being extra creeper by spying on the people again. Because if there's one thing Sarah is gonna do is spy on somebody.
I know. And not even well, because she always
That's
gets
not like
caught.
she never does it well. She always gets caught.
She always
Always.
gets caught. And this was no exception. She got caught and we're introduced to a new character who I also thought it was interesting that Sarah did not ask this person who they were.
Because
They
Sarah was not in the self-preservation mode
I
yet.
mean, you are literally in the Queen's Tower. You are in a place where you should assume that you're surrounded by enemies, and you should assume that anyone that approaches you has an ulterior motive because you are challenging the status quo. And so you should assume that literally anybody outside of your entourage is an enemy, and
Which is what they told her.
you just go off with this girl, and you're just chatting with her like nothing's wrong. And the whole time I was just like, I bet you that's the other princess. The whole time I knew.
Oh, I knew it was another princess. I just didn't like. I was like, which one is she? Is what I thought, because I was like, oh, because what I actually thought that one of the other princesses came and was just gonna try to off Sarah at that moment.
I think
Because
that's
again, it's
against
not
the
like Sarah
rules.
would have tried to protect herself, because she went along with her. And I was like, oh God, is this going to be one of those scenes where Sarah's like fighting for her life, literally and figuratively, and then she ends up getting saved at the last minute by like Noble or
Right, somebody.
whoever comes to find her, and then she gets chewed out again for being dumb.
I didn't think that she was in danger for her life, just because I know like they're a stickler for rules. Even though they kill like the princesses that don't win the bid, they are still a stickler for like their traditions and their rules. So I didn't
That's
think that
true.
she was in danger. I just thought she was an idiot, because if I was in her shoes, anyone that approaches me that's not my advisor or my bodyguard, I am on guard. I'm not about to just be talking to them. I'm not going nowhere with them. I don't know. Like, I'm just assuming, okay, you're not on my side because I am trying to shake the table. Everybody else here is pissed that I'm, putting my bid in. So anyone I meet is probably not on my side. And she just did not have any qualms following this girl off into like another location. And I was just like, oh my God, I cannot with Sarah. She doesn't ask
Every
enough
time.
questions. She
Like
doesn't ask enough questions.
as she walked off of the girl, I was like, Sarah, please, Sarah,
She does
girl,
not.
at least
She's
squeal. I mean, yes, the two shadows are doing whatever they're doing. There are still two shadows in the room right there.
right.
All you had to do was squeal,
I,
squirt, squeak, something, and they would have came to your rescue. Like, it's like,
and I'm
yeah.
kind of getting tired of the whole like she's so obsessed with Noble, and that makes her like that is literally handicapping her from doing anything, from like doing
Yes.
her from learning the dance,
How many
from
times does this man have to tell you, I'm not into you?
for keeping her composure, from like I'm just like I can't do this. Like, is this how people who don't like romance novels feel when they read romance? Like, are they just like, girl, stand up?
Yes, there are many times when I read certain romance books where I'm like, if you don't, please. But for
Yeah.
Sarah, for me, okay, so this is my issue, because at this point, I no longer fault Noble. He
Mm,
told her where they stand
he did very explicitly.
very explicitly. There was no room for interpretation. There was no, oh, he must just be playing with me right now. There were no mind
Mm-hmm.
games. It was just straight up,
Mm-hmm.
you cute, but you're terrible. I don't like you. I don't want you. Boom.
I know.
And she
Well,
still like has the audacity to feel some type of ownership over him.
yeah, it's a lot, because when who we now know, the other woman that she met, the young girl that she met, is Grace Bertinal, the other princess. So we now know who her, by the end of chapter 13, she says her name, so we know who she is. But, when she was also like, ooh, yeah, Noble is fine, and Sarah was getting upset, I was just like, girl,
Yeah, I
oh
was
my
like,
God.
can you please, because that you've already told us that Mara has been trying to teach you how to fix your freaking face and how to hide your emotion, and here you go showing all your weaknesses to a
And
stranger.
And it must have been such a slap in the face when Noble came to get her, and he was kind of scolding her, like, why did you just go off with, like, what is wrong with you? And then Grace starts flirting with Noble, and Noble's like, oh, yeah, I'm available anytime. And I was just like, I cannot
Well,
deal with
Noble
Noble.
also knew who she was too. Like, he
Yeah, he
knew
did.
that was the princess, so there was no way he was gonna like turn her down. But I do feel like he added a little extra spice in there.
Well, I was just kind of like, Noble has no loyalty to Sarah.
None.
Like,
Noble
his
was like,
loyalty is to Brandy and to the plan, but he has no loyalty to Sarah, because he's her bodyguard, and he can't even be like, no, I'm busy. He's literally like, yeah, anytime. I was like, I can't.
I was like,
Can't.
it makes sense that him and Pine hook up. It makes 1000% sense to
They're
me.
literally the different sides of the same coin. Like,
Yeah.
Pine is like the female Noble, kind of.
Yeah.
Like,
I kind of love, again, I just was like, ugh. I was like, right. Ash writes lot says, dang it, back to just me. He still gets, she's wrong for that, but he still gets on my nerves.
Yeah, I just thought that was crazy. I was like, he could not tell you any plainer and clearer that he
That's
does
my thing.
not give a fuck about you, your feelings, your emotions, none of it. He is
Not to
not loyal
mention,
to you. He doesn't
she
have
wears
mm,
her emotions about him so clearly that
she does.
everyone clowns her for it.
Everyone can see and everyone makes fun of her. And I'm just
When
like,
I was like, if you look like that while you were dancing, we'd be fine. Damn.
I know. I know. That was like such a blow. I was like, damn, you should be embarrassed right now. So I'm
But she's
wondering,
not.
well, I'm just wondering where this is going because it's not sustainable. And it's probably, can you imagine having a crush on someone and not getting you killed? Like, I'm just like, girl, you're going to have to wake up. You're going to have to
And
get a backbone and focus, which she does start to do. She does start to do.
yeah, I'm about to say we can stay on Sarah right now because I know the majority of our conversation is going to be on the Brandy chapters. So in chapter 16, we go back to Sarah,
Yes, but
and
oh wait, are we just skipping chapter 14?
I'm just gonna skip all the parts for Brandy, and we're gonna come back to those chapters so that I can fully focus all of my attention and not have to go back to Sarah.
Oh wow. It's like that? Damn.
Not like that truly, but I have lots of thoughts because I have sticky notes all over chapter 14,
Okay. Okay.
and I want to touch on all my sticky notes.
Well, I will say that when it was like Pine versus Sarah and they had that conversation, I'm not going to lie, I was on Sarah's side for that
Because you
conversation.
felt like Pine was coming out the side of her neck
Well, I
for
was
no
just like
reason.
I just wanted to be like, Pine, you haven't even been here. Like you literally just come in and out when you want. So you're not that invested. You say that you're obsessed with Brandy, but where were you during the battle? Like, girl, like you just come in and out, and that's fine. Like, do what you need to do. I know you felt like you were on a mission for Brandy, and that's fine. But when she was coming at Sarah sideways and she was like being so cruel to her, I was just like, "Well, you haven't even been around Sarah that much, first of all. I mean, nothing you're saying is wrong, but it's like you not absolutely nothing you're saying is wrong, but it's like you haven't even been here. So it's almost like Noble has a right to complain about Sarah. Mara has a right to complain. Sal can complain. Brandy can complain. Jack, the people that have had to deal with her day in and day out and deal with um, deal with like how her character has like affected them, right? But Pine
True.
hasn't been there. And so for her to just be abusing Sarah, it kind of felt like kicking someone when they're down and it's like it was so unnecessary. And that kind of made me feel some type of way about Pine. I was just like, that was so unnecessary. Like, you haven't been here, you haven't had to deal with her. And like, you just, you know, maligning her at this point really doesn't do anybody any favors.
See, I actually completely disagree.
I don't. That made me like not like Pine. I was just like, come on, girl. Like, we know she sucks, but you haven't had to deal with her. You could have just ate your food. You just ate your popcorn, like that Michael Jackson meme, and been like, I don't know.
Mhm. No, no.
Like,
So hear me out. Pine has always been the character who collects information on people.
yes,
She's always the person that's going around seeing what everybody is saying about people, going around, assisting Brandy with like her judgments on people. Her judgment to Brandy is very trustworthy. They have a different type of relationship than Brandy has with the other, I'm gonna call them cast members at this point, because at this point everything in my head is being played like a movie, so it's a cast.
nice.
um I think the reason, because remember how Mara was coming at Sarah with attitude?
She had a reason to, though.
Yes, but like the whole purpose, Mara was like get a backbone. Don't just let
Mm-hmm.
people say whatever to you. Like basically, well, yeah, kind of. I was about to say what Ben wrote. Like, stop acting so damn Asarian. Like in Roth's domain, you have to have like you have to be like you can't just be so weak about this. Like snap back. Which is why I think Pine laughed when Sarah finally got a backbone and was like basically like, you're not gonna talk to me like, oh, if that's it, you can leave. at that point, I was like, finally, Sarah, hello? Because, like, this girl don't even know you and she's talking to you sideways. You're internal having these conversations and feeling disrespected, but you haven't actually said it to her. Check her. Check her. You
I'm
need to
dead.
get a backbone. Check her. So when she checked her, I was like, well, hello, finally. Thank the Lord. Why did it take Pine to be the one for
Well,
you to come out
this
and
is
be
what
like,
I think. This is what I think. Sarah likes all the other ones.
oh,
She likes Mara, she likes Sal, she likes everyone. The thing is no one likes her, right? Because of her flaws and things like that, which she's slowly starting to realize. But when you like people and they criticize you, it's harder to like snap on them, especially when you know what they're saying is right, right? You kind of take it
true.
in, you feel shame, you're like, oh my god, you feel guilt, you feel, you feel whatever you feel. But when you want those people's respect, because when you like people, you want their respect. When you realize you don't have their respect, most of the time your inclination is not to snap. She doesn't like Pine, she don't know Pine, and she's already
That
mad
is
that
true.
Pine
She's
hooked up
also
with Noble.
super jealous of her.
Yes, she's very jealous of her. She wishes that she had been in her shoes when she was, having her night with Noble and whatever. So she, like, I don't want to say she hates Pine. I feel like that's strong, but she does not
I
like her.
mean, she has no positive thoughts towards Pine. We can put it
No.
like that.
And Pine hasn't been there and she doesn't know her and they're not friends like that. So for Pine to come and be like, actually, Brandy loves me and I'm favored over you. Like Sarah was like, bitch, no, we're not doing this today. Now I'm not taking this from you. I'll take it from Mara, take it from Sal, I'll take it from Noble, I'll take it
Listen,
from
but
Brandy. But
also
I'm not taking it from you.
she gonna have to take that same kind of shit from the other ones too. So at this point, I was just like, if this is what it took for her to finally start
Having a
checking people,
backbone.
because
Yeah.
while people have been reading her for filth, at any point she could have been like, all right, I ain't ask all that. You ain't have to say all that.
That's true. That's
She
true.
could have, like, because at no point have any of these people shown any respect to her whatsoever.
None. None.
And
I'm
never
not
has
gonna
she
lie
ended
though,
it.
but she ate in that last line
Oh yeah, when she was
with
like, "Oh my
Pine.
god," I was
She
like, "Oh, you
ate.
finally remember?"
I was like, she
I
ate.
was like,
Okay,
"No, no."
Sarah.
You know why she didn't eat? Because she waited until Pine walked out the room. I was like, "You should have said that with your chest,"
I
but you
know.
didn't.
But I
You're
was just
getting
like,
there, baby step.
okay, okay, okay. I was like, all right, Sarah, I don't
Because
like you, okay, okay.
had she
I,
dismissed Pine and sat down at her thing and been like, "You can go now," and then Pine
mhm.
said the thing and she'd have been like, "Girl, you can go because I'm a god," then I would have slow clapped for
That's
Sarah.
true. That's true.
But Sarah, she still said that to herself.
But baby steps.
It's baby
Baby
steps, but
steps.
she ain't got time
It's
for
like
too many more baby steps.
first, no, she doesn't. But first, you say it to yourself, then you say it to the world, okay? Because the thing about Sarah,
Not
she
you
has,
quoting affirmations.
well, the thing about Sarah and the reason why we don't like her, besides, her being self absorbed, blah, 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 she has low self worth.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
And you know what it is? Because I love villain characters and I love morally gray characters and I love characters that ain't shit. And I would actually have more respect for her and I would actually really like her if she stood 10 tones down in her flaws. And if she actually like
Oh,
stood on
yes.
business, if she was like, yeah, I know I'm just like daydream about Noble while these people die. I don't give a fuck. Like,
If
like I
Sarah
would have,
was a cocky, if she was a
yes,
cocky asshole, I
yes,
would have completely different thoughts about
exactly.
her.
But
It's
it's like,
her victim mentality
it's
that
the
just makes her
victim
so unlikable.
mentality plus like the low self-worth plus the weakness and not having about like everything combined with the selfishness with the it's just too much. It's like too many negative traits and not enough of you like being self-aware enough to either like own it and be like, this is who I am, I don't give a fuck, I'm a horrible person, it's fine, or actively working to change it and be like, I don't want to be like this, I need to be better, you know.
Yeah. Basically, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, she has room to surprise me.
Okay.
And I hope that this conversation with Pine is not the last time we see her with the backbone.
I
Just-
know.
Even though it was a small ass, little tiny, like 3 vertebrae backbone,
Just a
that was
baby one.
still the most we have ever seen her stick up for herself this whole time.
That's true. That's
So
true. But my emotions on Pine are mixed.
It's
We'll see.
fair.
We'll see. I don't know how I feel about her by the end of this book or into the last book. I have left room for me to start liking her again, but we'll see.
This is fair. I can allow that.
You were like, finally somebody ate like ripped into Sarah. And I was like,
No, it wasn't even a finally because she been getting ripped this whole book.
I feel like Pine's was extra though. Like hers was like extra
Pines
sharp.
was
Extra
unnecessary. I
sharp. I
can
was like,
definitely
ooh,
say that.
ooh,
Because
I
I was
felt
like, girl,
those.
you already got the guy. You don't have to come at her like this. But
I felt those
also,
shots in my
since you
chest.
did, let's see what Sarah's going to do with it since you did it.
Yeah, since you did. Oh
So
gosh.
now that we've gone through like our normal Sarah, why are you like this? Because I feel like that's a part of our discussions every week.
Every week. Every week.
Now we can get on to the part where I just kind of like if I was watching chapter 14 and chapter 15, like if this book was a movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they met Xena in the bar. And we all imagine I imagine Xena to be one of the iterations of Storm. That's how bad that's the level of baddie that she's
I
giving
love
in my
Xena.
mind.
She's wonderful.
Right. Oh shoot, and dropped the whole book. Okay.
I was like, you all right over there?
I'm good. If I imagine that. So we
Mm-hmm.
follow Xena, she takes us to the desert in Rose Domain, and then basically it's like, oh look, by the way, there's a temple here. My mouth was already like, ah shit, because I was like, first of all, Brandy, you're very fragile right now. You went here without anybody else. I'm already concerned.
I
Then you get
know.
in there and she says she's a priestess, and then it's she wants you to come sit on your throne. So then I'm like, well, how did you even know that she
The
would
revelation,
be
the revelation that Brandy had her own domain
Bruh.
was something that just couldn't, when you just can't make sense of something, you're like,
Yes.
wait, what? That's how I felt. And then even as I was like reading, past the meeting with I can never remember his name, Zuriel, whatever.
I just call him Zaddy Z because at this point I have to make comedy because like Brandy, my brain is overloaded.
Yeah, it's insane. But past the meeting with Zuriel, when she's finally back in her domain and she's actually interacting with the other, I don't know what the name of the people are called, like the priestess and their people, when she's interacting with them and walking around the domain, and apparently there's like a restaurant that you can go to. I was like, oh, this is a full-on
Ma'am,
domain.
you're jumping chapters.
But that's what I'm saying, that like
I
the
know.
fact that she had a domain, like
Yeah, no,
it
it's
didn't
the fact that
compute.
her dad had the forethought to create her domain before time. Like her domain
But
existed before time.
here's the thing, it didn't really sink in for me, because that's what I'm saying. Like, I know I'm skipping ahead, but when they started talking about like, oh yeah, this restaurant and such, it finally hit me, like, oh, this is a domain just like all the other ones, like all the other
Yeah.
domains that have like homes and people that live there and restaurants and streets and like businesses. I was like, wait a minute, this is a full community, like a full-on community, a full-on, oh my god, what? Still wrapping my mind around that. I'm just like, what in the world? What do you mean she has a domain? What is
No, it
going
said
on?
you said last week that you wanted her to have a parent that cares. Listen,
I guess my wish came true.
can I just say that I'm unsure if he really cares or if he, like Freya, is doing this for his own personal gains. I know that Brandy seems to trust what he says, but
Well,
he trusted Freya too.
this is what convinced me that he cares. He
Okay.
literally he sealed himself away in her.
Because he knew that there was no way for Freya to get to her if he did that.
So he basically like forfeited his own life for X amount of time, until he knew that one day she would become aware of him and all this stuff, but he was willing to sacrifice that amount of time and like eat that and
But
not
that's
do
only like
anything.
what, 19 years in the scheme of things? That's chump change to him.
I know, but I still think that like his willingness to sacrifice, because I think that's the key of being a good parent, is that you're willing to sacrifice for your kids. So, and Freya never sacrificed for Brandy. Keep that in mind. She hasn't sacrificed anything for Brandy at all. So
True.
every move that she has made has been trying to like use Brandy. And when one tactic doesn't work, she switches to another tactic. And when that doesn't work, she switches. So all Freya has done is just like trying out different plans. She's like, okay, plan 180. Like, okay, that didn't work. Plan 181. Like that's all she's ever done. But the reason why I trust Surreal, like I don't know what his full motives are, because you have to remember he knows the beginning of time, the end of time, like he knows everything. So I don't know what his full motives are. But what I do trust is that he does care about Brandy and he does love her, because he was willing to sacrifice something, like even if it's like, oh, that's not a lot of time for him, but he literally ceased to exist. Like he was willing to just like go away like permanently for X amount of time and not have his own autonomy, not have his own anything, and just be sealed inside Brandy. And I'm like, that's kind of that's a big deal.
Listen, I'm jaded by this story. I'm recognizing that now. Like, I have trust issues.
You are so funny. You
Because
are
I'm
like,
like,
I don't
at this
trust.
point, every single time we are in a Brandy chapter, I am bracing myself because I just don't know what else is going to happen. Not to mention, in these chapters, it was revealed that the
Mhm.
Galaxiers
Yeah.
knew what he did,
Mhm.
lied to why can I never say his name? The one that starts with an A,
Azine.
lied to him about where he was, telling him that he was exiled. So everybody else thought that he was exiled, but they knew and kept up the lie. And then we're learning they don't actually have to tell the truth all the time either.
I know. The Galaxiers are an interesting um part of the story, because I feel like they're that variable that is unpredictable. So it's like
Yeah.
when you do an experiment and you have a variable that is not really like known, and you're just like, I don't know what this variable is going to do, and how it's going to change the outcome of this experiment. That's kind of how I feel about the Galaxiers. We don't know that much about them. We don't know what they're capable of fully, and we're just kind of finding out as the story unfolds, and
It's
we are only
almost like a
getting.
cheating boyfriend who's trickle truthing me. That's how I view them.
Yes, and we only get, and like I'm so sorry, but like I don't think about the Galaxiers. Like I know they're
I
important, but
don't
I
think
just
about them until they're mentioned. And then when they're mentioned, I'm like,
I can't think about them right now. Like my
yeah, I
brain,
was like, can I just focus on what was just revealed, please?
yeah, I can't.
Because
I can't focus on the
if I
Galaxiers because
write down everything that I know about them, I am so skeptical of them. I do not understand what they're gaining from this whole situation.
I think that they will definitely play a much larger role in book 3. Well, we're not done with this book yet, so maybe I've spoken too soon. But I do think that we
This is
will
a
learn
prediction.
I do think that we will learn more about them, and I think that they will play a much larger role, and we'll kind of get to see their motives and everything unfold when it comes to their motives for these worlds, their motives in regards to Zuriel and Azine. I think we're going to find out, and even Brandy, but I just can't think too deeply into it
I
because
wrote down their stuff, but I too feel like it's like I'm too busy trying to understand Brandy's parents.
I understand Brandy's parents just fine. You have one
I
parent
do
who is a
not.
narcissist. I know everybody says that word all the time, but she is a god after all. So you have one parent
Yeah.
who's like very obsessed with themselves and only cares about themselves and feels for only themselves, really. And everything and anything that's an extension of them, they care about it, but they only care about it because it is an extension of them, right?
Yeah.
And once that extension stops doing what they want, they don't like it anymore.
Yeah. No, that part is totally clear. That part is completely clear. It's like for his thing, it's like, okay, we know that she's a time being. We know that he's suppressed, like he basically like locked away her powers because time being and God don't really go well together. Hence why she's basically been burning from the inside out, which is crazy.
I feel bad.
Me too, because like, what are you supposed to like? What is she supposed to do with that, basically? But I do like the fact that she like. I mean, she said it was an accident, but I like that she asked him basically like, "So you knew all of this was going to go down, and you still let it happen?"
And what did he say? He said he wanted her.
I mean, yeah, but it's just one of those things where I'm like, I too would have asked the same question because Brandy's been through a lot.
But you have to remember, he can see the future. Well, he says he can't see her, right? Because she's a time being
Yeah,
too.
now that her powers have awakened, he can no longer see he can no longer see her and or her future because time beings can't see each other like that.
That was a plot twist I didn't see
Yeah,
coming. I
I
was
was
like,
like,
dang.
hello?
I
Because
just,
remember before he had just said like he knew that Azine, that's his name, I think. He knew that he likes to like play with his charges essentially like for entertainment. And I'm like, so you know about him, you just didn't know his actions, but you were banking on his usual actions to help like get you to this point, basically.
oh, 100%. Well, I guess like when you were just like, Zuriel knew all the things that were going to happen, that was going to happen to Brandy, and why would he still allow these things to unfold and or participate in allowing these things to unfold. And I feel like the bigger message was missed because he said it so quickly. I think he only said it in like one line or two lines, but he was basically just like, I wanted love. Like I saw
Oh
what
yeah.
was about to happen. I knew it was going to be a shit show. I knew it was going to be bad. I knew like your birth was going to come with a lot of turmoil and stuff, but I wanted to experience love. I wanted to know what that was like. And I wanted a child because you have to remember he's been alone
Yeah.
for like centuries. Like he's just been on his own, just going to all these worlds and like ceasing starting time and some worlds and then other worlds like literally like ceasing them to exist and destroying them all. Like the galaxiers are giving him these assignments like, oh, go here and end this world, oh, go here and start time. Like that is a very lonely existence.
It's true. It's just trying to think of him with these kind of human wants. It's just so interesting. Just considering on how they talked about time beings, for him to have such like person desires. It's like he said it so calmly, like, "Duh, obviously this is what I wanted." It's like, but why? Which is also why I
It's
actually laughed when she was like, "You're still gonna try to destroy the realm," and he was like, "Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie to you. Yeah, absolutely."
yeah, I mean, he's not
And
willing to
then
let that
it was
one
like,
go.
"Do you really have to ask why after everything I just told you?" It's like,
I think my favorite part of that whole meeting was when he was like, I'm your dad. And she was just like, okay. I was
yeah,
like,
because
this
he kept
girl.
saying your mother. She was like, "Do not call her that."
But it's just like her level of nonchalance. She's tired, bro. She was like, okay.
I feel so bad for her because it'd be like, it's like she even says it real quick. She'd be like, "I just don't care.
She was like,
I don't know what else to
to
do."
give. I have nothing more to give. I'm tired. I
As
was
I'm
like,
reading the part that she says it, I'm like, same. I'm
mm-hmm.
gonna take a break after, like, actually, while we were doing the reading, the last reading sprint that we did after that big reveal happened, I actually sat the book down and went to go get a glass of water
Oh,
and
I
like
needed a moment,
chill
honey. I
because I
needed
was
a
like, I
moment.
needed a moment because what? But again, oh, and then he casually mentioned that Xena was actually from another world, essentially, that he bought her over specifically to be a priestess for Brandy.
Yeah, he brought her over and he brought over all of her people.
Yeah, all the people that wanted to come.
Well, yes, because I think when she and Xena have a conversation about this, when she goes
Yeah.
back into consciousness, back into the temple in her realm, they talk about, Xena's decision to essentially, because basically what happened is when Zuriel showed up on that in that realm, about to like basically end that realm and destroy
Yep.
it, the gods of that realm, which I found this interesting, right? Because remember Freya said, "Oh my gosh, like I don't want you to start time because I don't want my creations, my children, I don't want them to die, right? She was like, I don't want them affected by time. But, you know, Zuriel was like, whatever, sorry, it's too bad, so sad, I have to start it anyway. Then she was like, okay. Then her whole plan, apparently, according to her, and why she did what she did to Brandy and all this stuff was because she wants the realm saved and she wants her children with her forever. She doesn't want them to die, blah, blah, blah. Well, I found that very interesting that the gods of this realm that Zuriel went to that were, you know, about to be ended also begged for their children not to die and
Yeah.
also begged Zuriel to save their children, which he did. He saved their children by transporting them from that realm to Brandy's realm or wherever their world to be in Brandy's domain to be her, you know, her people, like to serve her and stuff.
Yes.
And I found that fascinating because it was kind of like a parallel because we then come to find out through Royal, or maybe
Yep.
I'm skipping ahead, but we then come to find out through Royal that he
You are
doesn't
skipping
think
ahead, but it's okay.
that he doesn't believe that that was Freya's intent at all. He was like, Freya don't care about y'all like that.
Well, I mean, okay, so if I'm comparing it to the other gods, I also agree with Laura. I don't think that's how Freya operates. I don't think Freya cares like that. Freya's only desire, the same way that she kept bringing Royal back because she wanted him to be around her.
Yeah.
Like Freya don't care. Like you said earlier, Freya does not care unless it involves like a service to her.
Right. So I just thought it was interesting that we were juxtaposed with this like one realm that was literally being ended and these gods that were genuinely terrified that their children were going to cease to exist and were begging Zuriel like, "Oh my god, please save them. Like you don't have to save us. Like we've accepted that this realm is done. We've accepted it and we will go, you know, gently into the good night, whatever. But please save our kids." I was like, see, now those gods actually cared about their creations and they were willing to do whatever it took to save them. And I just thought it was interesting that that was juxtaposed with Freya, who was pretending, right, to have
Yeah.
that same desire, but then she has her own, you know, she has her own agenda underneath it all. And I was like, that's very interesting. I
Also,
thought that was interesting.
I have questions because this is the second time being that has offered some type of thing for her to consider with the caveat of I'll save Jack.
Oh yeah. Are you talking about
Where he was
Zuriel
like, I
being
want you to, yes. Where he was like, I want you to think about something. And then he was and he also included the caveat, like, I'll save Jack and whoever else you want me to save within reason.
within reason? I love
And I
that
was
within
like,
reason part. Because I'm
I was
like,
like,
okay, what does that mean? My thing is, what does that mean?
also like when he says save them, because now we know when he means save them, he means like they're going to a different place.
Mm-hmm.
But Brandy is time being and God.
Yes.
And so I feel like because they're also ensuring that like we really want her to come with us. That's why we're also going to save Jack. Like they know that's what they have to do to get her to go with them. But I'm like, I just something about that offer just that's why I said like I feel like we about to have a whole different moment because I think
Okay.
the whole time
Let's
being galaxy thing is going to
let's
be
talk about our predictions because my prediction is so right now Brandy's overwhelmed. She's got all
yeah.
of these things going on and all these people that want things from her. Save the realm, destroy the queendom, destroy the realm, da 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 da, do this, do this, do this. And she's just like, oh my God, on top of, you know, her finding out her real identity, her beefing with Freya and discovering Freya's true character and motives. All this stuff. Like it's a lot to deal with in a very short amount of time. Because every time I went to a chapter, I was like, oh my God, this is all in the same day. It's all within the same like
It's all within
20
like the same time
two
frame.
yeah, the
She's
same
not
two
getting very
days.
many days of sanity. No, she's not.
No, no. And it's like one thing after the next after the next. So my prediction is I am waiting for the moment that Brandy wakes up to the fact that she is a time being and she can walk among the galaxies and just be like, fuck these realms. Like, I don't need to be in a realm. I don't need to be in any one realm. I can walk throughout time. I can go from realm to realm, galaxy to galaxy. I have that power because I'm half time being. So I don't have to be here. I'm not tethered.
Nope, I
And I
disagree.
could take Jack with me if I want. Like, I'm just waiting for her to have that revelation.
She has to learn how to control her powers first
Well, yes, which is
to
where
get there.
what's her face comes in. What was her name?
Yes.
Roxy? Was it Roxy? Am I saying her name right? Xena's daughter.
Yeah, but that's next week's discussion. But
Did I
yes,
skip ahead?
girl, yeah, you all the way in the next set of chapters on that one. I know what you're talking about because I'm there too.
Oh,
Uh,
whoops.
but yeah,
Remy, thanks, Ben. Remy, yes. Okay, yeah, we won't
yeah,
talk about that yet. But also, I pictured Remy just being this like beautiful, handsome woman.
yes, okay. Like I cannot think of an actual person in real life to compare her to, but I think she real fine. I was like,
Yes,
girl, you sound cute.
right. But yeah, we are
I was
skipping ahead.
like, not you writing in this fine ass woman, okay?
I know. I was like, oh my goodness.
I was
But
like,
yeah.
Xena sounds like almost ethereal beauty.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
Remy, yeah. Mm-mm. I was like, Remy
Anyways,
sounds
let's
dangerous.
backpedal because
Yeah.
we are skipping to
Okay.
next week.
We that's because
We
sometimes
just
when we're
we just
introduced to
needed a
characters
moment
in
of
this
joy.
book, we end up like having very strong reactions to certain characters in this book. She was one of them.
Oh, she was definitely one of them, and we just needed a moment of happiness because my
Yeah.
God, today we've been through it.
So my prediction from the first discussion video still stands. I think that they are going to go forward with the whole destroying the queendom thing, but I think that there's going to be a caveat. I think that Sarah is going to somehow manage to survive this thing. But a part of destroying the queendom will involve destroying Sarah as well because she is, in fact, a part of the queendom. Brandy is not going to do that, and that is going to have her going with the time beings as a part of the deal. Her and Jack, at least. I don't know if she's going to take anybody else with her, but I think that's what's going to happen. That's
Well,
my
here's the
prediction.
thing. Here's the thing. We were dropped a bomb at the
Which
end
bomb?
of
There are many
the
bombs in this
series
book.
of chapters. Oh wait.
Were we?
Let me just make sure.
Yeah, I was going to
Yes.
say, wait.
Yes.
Oh, no. You know what? It would not be a Black Prose conversation if we did not have some form of technical difficulty.
Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I said we were dropped a bomb. We read through chapter 16, right?
Yes.
Okay. So there are two bombs. The first bomb is Royal arrives and she has a conversation with Royal, which we've dipped into because he's talking about like his beliefs of Freya's true motives and stuff. But the other
Yeah.
bomb that we get is that the gods are dying.
Yes. But I thought
And
we already knew that they were dying because they don't even have their powers anymore. They gave up their immortality.
but here's the problem. The gods are dying, but they gave their powers to people that Brandy love. And
Yeah.
so these people are going to be corrupted because they too are dying and the gods are corrupting them, their souls, and then they can't go back into time. So we have a new conflict now. Brandy now has to save her friends somehow. So that's a new conflict. A second thing is
That
that
part I haven't made a prediction on because I'm still processing that part because again,
I was
like
shook.
Brandy, we
I was
can't
like,
catch a
oh my
break.
gosh. So her friends' lives are in danger. They're at
So
stake.
is her bae.
Exactly, including Jack. And then we have the shaders deciding to shapeshift into people and abandoning Freya's domain. I was like, I can't do this. I can't do
You
this.
know what? Honestly, that part made me like die of laughter. I'm not even gonna front because I don't know what it is, but it's the shaders and Royal being like, "Fuck this bitch, I'm out." Like
Yes.
that's the energy of that the shaders gave by shape shifting and leaving Freya's domain.
Like, that's insane. So these are two things that she's going to have to figure out on top of everything else. And I am so sorry. But Sarah's little bid for the queendom is like so low on my priority list. Just like, I'm like Brandy right now. I'm
I
like,
don't think I think Sarah's bid for the queendom is like because we haven't even gotten there yet. I think Sarah's bid for the queendom is where all hell is gonna break loose.
Agreed.
And there's going to be some major reveal. At this point, I'm expecting reveals. There's going to be a major reveal that is going to be the turning point. And I think it's going to be a point where her and Jack go somewhere else. Like I still just believe it's going to, because she has stated it so many times. She does not care about anybody on that on that realm except Jack. So I'm just like, that's how I don't know. At this point, every time I feel like I know shit, I don't.
I know. Okay, this is what I would like to happen.
Okay, we can say that, yeah.
What I would like to happen is I would like Brandy to realize her time beingness and be like, I don't fucking have to be tied to this realm. I can move throughout realms. So what I would like for her, since she's half time being and half god, I would like for her to be able to visit the realm, or her world of her choice, like, oh, I'm visiting, but to also be able to move throughout time like her dad. So she has an option. So either or, whatever she wants to do. A. B, I would like the old gods to be wiped out somehow, not sure. But in their wiping out, for her to figure out a way to wipe them out, but also to not corrupt her friends. So maybe she can manipulate time since she's a time being. I don't know how that would work. Would she go out? Would she go back in time and like do something to Freya? I don't know.
Is that even
Something.
a possibility? Is that even the thing they're allowed to do?
Once she controls her powers, who knows what's possible. But I would like her friends to survive for the most part. I would like the queendom to be brought down, but I would almost like the world to be restarted. Because if she can walk through time, can she restart the realm? These are questions I have.
These are questions I have, but I don't know the rules. Like I don't know what their rules are.
Same. So these are just the things that I would like, because what I see at the end of this trilogy is I see a whole new world. I see
A whole
Brandy.
new
I see
world.
Brandy and Jack not always tethered to that world, but walking throughout time, coming back, visiting. If anyone dies, um, I mean, I can see Sarah dying, but I feel like that would be an easy way out. I would like her character to grow and change and develop. I can
So who do you
see
think is being sacrificed? Because I
Ty.
feel like
I
somebody's
think
being
Royal's
sacrificed.
definitely gonna die because he wants to. I can see Noble dying. Unfortunately, that wouldn't surprise me. Because right now he has failed to play a bigger role in the story besides just sleeping with everyone. So if he gets
No.
sacrificed, it would not surprise me. um Najee,
Okay.
don't really care if she lives or dies. It's I don't like her, so I don't care. We definitely want to see everybody in the queendom perish, like what's his name, the snake guy, I can't remember his name right now.
Alan,
Is that his name?
Grace's daddy, quote unquote daddy.
Oh yeah. He can go. Um, yeah, Grace. I don't know how I feel about
Wait,
her.
we haven't even discussed Grace. I just realized that.
I mean, there's nothing to discuss yet.
Do you think Grace is the time being's vessel?
Oh,
Like they
that's
think.
right. I completely forgot about the time being
Yeah, I forgot
vessels.
about that. Do you think that she is the time vessel because she just appeared? Or do you think there's something else sinister happening?
Mm, you know what? Is it sad to say like Grace is so uninteresting at the moment that I have to wait until she has tea with her? Isn't she supposed to have tea with her or something?
You said I need further information to
Yeah, I
indict
need more
her.
information.
That's
Yeah, I
fair.
do. Because as of
That's
right now,
fair.
I'm just like, oh, okay, whatever.
Because I was just like, why was she welcomed in by the queen? Like there are other princesses that will be putting in their bid for the crown. I know he's
Yes.
her favorite. I know. But obviously that's not her child.
No. Yeah,
And
there are
they
a lot of
also said
questions.
in order to do the bid, they have to like they basically put up their DNA for verification.
Yes.
So how'd that go work?
I don't even know, dude. I have a lot of questions, and I'm sure they'll be answered by the end of the trilogy. I don't know if excuse me. I doubt they'll be answered by the end of this book, but I definitely know we end on a cliffhanger because I already went and looked at the last page and it said to be continued.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't read the page. I just saw that part. So I am expecting just, I don't know, chaos, havoc. I'm
Oh, you
excited.
know, I'm expecting because the next set of chapters, that's basically the climax and the oh shit. Because you have to have major, it's got to have a major moment before we get to be continued.
Oh, 100%.
And we are in like week 4 is the last, we are in the last week of February already. Anyway,
We are, which is bizarre.
this is a weird segue, but discussion or week number 4 is the final chapters. We are reading 17 through 21. And apparently, we have no idea what's happening.
I know, Ben. Why could you? Well, you can't just say that.
Yeah, hello?
I was trying to ignore that comment. I was like,
I
I'm
can't
not.
because
It's fine. It's totally fine.
it's cool. You know
It's
what?
okay. It's okay.
I'm okay with being destroyed as a person because like I said, I really appreciate the fact that this is a second book in a trilogy, but it just has me on edge the entire time.
Oh, 100%.
Like it's the end of the trilogy because you know most second books in fantasy trilogies they are just let me just fluff you through so we can
Mm-hmm.
set you up for the final book.
Yeah,
This one
they
I'm like, I
suffer.
would actually like a little fluff, please.
I know. I feel like most second books in a trilogy suffer from second book syndrome,
Yes.
which people are like, I've been let down. Like, I didn't like this. It didn't live up to the first book, blah, blah, blah. Or, like you said, it's literally just a filler to get us to the last book.
Yes.
Then
Also,
it's like, you should have just done a duology.
I made a mistake. There's apparently 22 chapters. I got to make that edit.
Wait, he said there. Oh,
Yeah,
there
there are
are.
22. I don't know why I didn't notice that. There are 22 chapters in this book because page 317 to 329 is chapter 22. I don't know why I said 21. Either way, if you would like to read with us for the last reading sprints of the month, I've actually really enjoyed these reading
They've
sprints.
been so nice.
Yeah. It's giving quarantine pages vibes of like
Oh
just the
my
chill
God.
reading.
Yes, I
I'm like,
missed it.
I high key miss quarantine pages all the time.
Oh, absolutely.
So if you guys want to come chill with us to read on this Tuesday, we will meet again at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. Um, everybody, he said some people don't like BookTube because they say it's too dark. Too dark is right up my alley. We all know I like dark, gory, bloody, violent books. So dark works for me. It's just somehow we have managed to feel all the feelings that Brandy is feeling
You know
while
what
we're
it is?
reading.
You know what it is?
What is
I
it?
don't think book 2 is any darker than book 1. I actually think
I
book
don't
1
think
is
it is either.
I think book 1 is actually darker than book 2 because we have to remember people were actually assassinated in book 1. I think the
You were like, people were
difference
actually sent to the gods in book 1.
I think the difference is that in book 2 we're in Brandy's mind as she's having a mental breakdown and an identity crisis. So I think it's a more of a
Yeah.
psychological dark
But to be
versus
fair, we too are kind of having an identity crisis for Brandy as well as we're reading it because
yes.
we only know as much as Brandy knows. We do not know
Exactly.
anything until Brandy learns it. So while she's being shook, we're reading the book like, what?
And it's like there are no moments of levity because in book 1, even though people are being sent to the gods and all this gory stuff is happening, there are so many moments of like levity and lightness and laughter and just like, those lighthearted moments in between. And I feel like in this book, there aren't any.
This book, there are a lot of things at stake and it shows.
Yes, it's very like high stakes and it's just like one revelation after the next. And you're just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God,
I'm
oh
on
my God.
edge and I'm enjoying it. I am purposely like I was reading today and I stopped because I was like, one, I want to have chapters to read for Tuesday, and
Oh,
then two,
yes.
I don't want to get to a point where because you know how you'll get to a point in a book where you can't stop
Oh,
and you have to
100%.
finish.
And you have to
I
finish.
don't
Yeah.
want to get to that point before Tuesday.
That's true. Don't do that. Put the book
So
away.
yeah, I'm gonna leave it in the library. What some people quit book 2 because you know what? We're not gonna we've already said the people that Sarah is their like favorite character. We already have questions and concerns for the type
Well,
of
did
people
they
they are.
quit book 2 because they were annoyed by Sarah, or did they quit book 2 because they were mad at how Sarah was, like, being treated, like,
I'm
on her
gonna go
character?
out on a wild limb here and say they were mad at how Sarah was treated, and they felt like she was being bullied. I'm about a
Bullied?
1000% sure. Because if they
Oh.
thought that she was being bullied in the first book, they were not happy with the second book.
You know what's interesting? I feel like readers of fantasy are used to female protagonists like Sarah, but here's the difference. It's almost as if in this fantasy series, Sarah is written with an objective eye, so we can actually see what that type of character is truly like without the veneer of
Ooh, look
them
at
being. No,
you.
but seriously, in normal fantasy,
You're
the
right.
the Sarah character is the main character, but there's this glossing over her of like, but she's beautiful, but all these men want her, but she's in a love triangle, but she has all these amazing powers. And when you strip all those things away, she's
You
just
have
very
Sarah.
self absorbed, self centered, like low self-worth, horrible character, but it's like it's seen through these rose tinted glasses in every other fantasy. I'm really thinking about like the Sarah J. Maas books,
Yeah, I knew which ones you were going for, and I was about to say, look at you eating this up without
about.
actually saying the name of the book, but you did, so never
But
mind.
keep in mind, I love these books. This
Oh,
is
I
this is
know.
this is coming from somebody that thoroughly enjoyed Throne of Glass series and the other one I can't remember, Akator. I thoroughly enjoyed them, right? But even I'm not. I can see what it is. I can see it for what it is. And in this series, all of those rosiness and the veneer is stripped from Sarah, so we can really see Sarah for who she truly is, and people can't stand it.
It's because, like, I'm not going to say somebody who reads true fantasy. I'm going to say that somebody who actually reads a variety of fantasy, characters like Sarah don't survive,
They don't. They
or
don't.
they're
They get
supposed
killed.
to. Yeah, but instead, there is a highlight of certain books that present these female protagonists to always be weak for some reason, which always throws me off because I'm just like, you're in a fantasy world that's supposed to be like everybody gonna die or you like kill or be killed,
Hmm.
but
It also
the
makes me
characters
think
should
of,
be more Brandy like, but instead they're
but they're
Sarah,
not.
and the
It also,
Brandys always get killed doing something to save the
the
Sarah.
Brandies are relegated to the side characters that self-sacrifice to save the Sarahs.
Yes.
And this also makes me think about Bella from Twilight, who I also liked Bella, but let's be real. Bella is closer to Sarah than she is to a Brandy.
Bella is 1000% a Sarah.
So
Yes.
it's just very interesting. Like it's almost like people can't stand to see the characters that they liked like under a microscope and under like it's like you turn the lights on in a room, but instead
Yeah.
the cockroaches scurrying away, you can see them all.
Also, and I'm just gonna say this because we're at Black Prose Club. Um, the readers that are probably saying these things cannot stand the fact that there's a main protagonist as a strong black woman and she's not the side character. She's not saving
Yes.
white people. She's
Yes.
not focused on who they consider to be white, Sarah.
Yes. Yes.
She is focused on herself. She's unapologetically about herself,
Hmm.
and she's unapologetically like strong, but not strong in a way that serves Sarah,
No.
strong in a way that serves herself
And she's adored and loved by everyone. And you
by
just
everyone.
and oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for you saying that, Brittany, because you just reminded me. I almost called you Brandy, but you just reminded me of a part in the book that I loved so much that I actually wanted to talk about it today. And it's that part where Sarah is talking about her looks because she is, I think it's when Pine shows up. It's she does it
No,
twice.
no, no. It was
When
when Cedric and Mara were talking about her needing help to get a Rothian consort.
you're right. And she was just like, well, this. Oh my god, this part just made my week. She was just like, "Well, I'm blonde and I have blue eyes and I'm pale and I'm not the standard of beauty." I was like, "Talk about an Uno reverse." She was like, I'm not the standard of beauty in this world, in our world. I'm not the standard beauty.
If
I
the
don't
people
have
at
dark
DMX
skin.
actually got that far, I know they threw that book across the room.
She was like, the goddess is beautiful, dark skinned, like chalk. I was like, ooh, girl, this is the type of writing I love to see.
It's just, it's one of those things where it's like, because we're Black fantasy readers. We didn't start getting Black people as the main character of fantasy stories and then having such clear access to them until social media.
That's very true.
So I've never read a character in a fantasy book and been like, oh my God, I totally see myself in her, because that's never been a thing for me. So when I read books like this, where it's specifically like highlighting like, no girl, like you, ma'am, are the abnormal one. Everybody is going to look and stare at you because you look weird compared to everybody else. And for once, it's not the Black girl who's extra curvier than everybody else. And meanwhile, she's probably like a size 12 in real life. Like, that's a whole other thing. It's just like, thank you.
I
I
know
like
that was
reading books where we're like, we are the epitome of beauty. It's very uplifting. I still need a Freya poster. I know I don't like, hear me out. I know that I am strongly disappointed in Freya, and I am not on her biggest fan list right now. I'm not a part of her fan club right now, but I still need a Freya poster.
that's
Just off the
hilarious.
principle of what she stands for in terms of the standard of beauty. That's all.
That is hysterical. But yeah, that part just really gave me everything I wanted it to give. I was like, yes, I am satisfied.
You're like, and we're good. We don't
We're
need
good.
anything else. We're good.
We're
Thank
good.
you. It's funny though, because she thinks it's her looks, and I'm like, no, girl, because like what Noble said, nobody is gonna want to pick you.
Can you imagine? She's a pick-me girl.
She is a pick me. That's why she's so distraught that Noble hasn't picked her.
That's so sad. But can you imagine a man telling you it's not even your looks, it's your personality?
I already told you. If a
Bruh.
man told me that, I would be like, just call me ugly.
Can you imagine being like, your personality sucks?
Because like
what?
I can't help how I look. My personality, I can very much help.
Exactly. He was like,
Call me ugly, boo. Don't dissect my personality. Just say I'm ugly. I don't want you to hurt my whole being of who I am.
crazy.
I'm good. Just
That
call
was
me
insane.
ugly.
And the fact that he said that to her face and she still went on to like, she basically
That's
like ignored
thing,
it.
That's what I was saying. I was like, the part that kills me is that this man was like, you're fine. You're beautiful. But you as a person is trash. And she's still like, oh my God, Noble. Girl.
I know. That's so embarrassing for her. I'm embarrassed for her. It's like secondhand embarrassment, basically.
Yes, I cringe every time she starts like lusting after Noble, because all I can think about is that one line where I'm like, girl, he called you ugly inside, not outside, inside.
Yeah, that's a burn that I don't know if I would recover from if I was Sarah.
I would not. I would have had to figure out some way to hurt his feelings the way he hurt mine.
Oof.
We're not leaving this until I get the last word. You're not about to hurt me like that and you walk away. Right? Not only walk away, but walk away and go start making out with somebody in front of me. No.
Yeah,
you're gonna hurt too. You're gonna hurt too. I just don't know how, but I'm gonna make you hurt.
Oh my God.
It's like, oh yeah. We want more. I'm scared. I'm so excited for the finale of this book.
I feel like during the reading sprint on Tuesday, you're just gonna hear me coming on during the timer to be like, no.
I think I'm just gonna do it in the chat.
Maybe.
Because I've started writing out like because in the beginning of the book it's like tweets that are like just without any context. I've started writing out my own tweets that I would have put at the beginning of the book. Like, remember how last week you were like, everything was fine until chapter 5?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was so true though.
One of the ones that I wrote, this one, I was like, if your daddy's not creating domains for you, he's not a real one.
Not domains. If I wasn't reading this book, my first thought would be like website domains. I'd be like, wait a minute.
Exactly. It's like, say you have to write it as if you're doing it without context. Like, it has to be no context whatsoever. It's like, also, one of the ones that I wrote, I was like, if a girl came into my room at the crack of dawn talking about what the man I wanted tastes like, I would have slapped the taste out of her mouth.
Oh my goodness. These are too funny.
Right.
Oh,
That's what I was writing,
hilarious.
because I was like, honestly, without context, these are wild.
They are wild. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. Is there anything else we want to discuss while we're gathered here today?
If anybody in the comments has anything that we missed, please let us know. I'm low key. I kind of like these whole group read where we get to talk about them every week.
I know. It's actually
I'm
really
low key loving
satisfying.
this time.
It's very satisfying. Maybe we should try this for our book of the quarter.
We might need to, because these are really nice. Oh my
These
God, I forgot. Pine did put her shoes on a bed. That's acting like you ain't got no home training right there. That's so disrespectful.
Was the moment she lost me and Sarah came to support her for a very brief moment in time.
You were like, you dirty heifer.
I was like, you have gone too far. Like, oh my God.
Oh, girl, not you putting your outside clothes on a bed. Ew.
Yeah, it was a bit much. I was like, Pine, you need to flit on out of here.
It's funny. That's the part that you were like, no, I was cool with them. Look, but imagining talking about, if we can talk about anything, I can even tell you what Noble tastes like. Slap.
It was just so uncalled for. I was like, nobody asked you to come into her room.
Again, if Sarah normally clapped back, Pine wouldn't have felt comfortable saying that.
That's true.
So
she was testing her gangster.
Basically. Yeah, because I'd have hit her so hard, her and her shoes would have gotten off my bed.
Not her and her shoes. Oh no. Oh my goodness.
Just if you do it again, maybe you should read Bones to the Wind by Tatiana Obey. That's on my reading list. I haven't started it this month. Last month was a great reading month. This month, not so much.
Well, I feel like this month we've been focused on just this book.
Yeah, my free time, I've been playing Palia because there's a Lunar New Year event still going on, and I'm trying to get the dragon. So
oh my goodness.
Please read Bones to the Wind. It's on my list. I have it saved. I think it's in my wish list too, because I was like, maybe I should just buy this book, because that's the one with the really dope cover, right? Hold on. I screamed at the book. I laughed and I cried. Good grief.
That is a ringing endorsement.
Sell me a book.
Right? I was like, good grief.
That just reminds me of the fantasy. Remind me after this that I need to tell you my idea. Oh yeah, no, this is the one that I have saved. It's the Forging of Age book series. And the cover is really, really good. I just remember seeing this cover on social media and I was like, is this a book? Is this a book? Somebody tell me if this is a book. And yeah, it's a book. The cover looks like a female pirate, and I loves me a female pirate.
You do love that.
So I was sold, and then I realized, oh my God, she's black. Oh my God, it's a black pirate. It's a black female pirate. And then save. I might buy the book just on principle. I try to buy the books that I know that are black and indie.
That's smart.
Yeah, because they don't get the same love, that the publisher people's gets. I cannot wait for the day that I start making fan art, because I still haven't done it yet. My goal is to write down more descriptions from this book and draw some fan art, but I realize fan art is actually very daunting.
Yeah, fan art sounds intimidating as hell.
It's very intimidating. Like, I've sat down to start drawing Freya during this month multiple times, and I am it's like, I've seen pictures of what she looks like. I've read descriptions of her. I've done all these things, and I sit down and draw, and then I'm starting to draw, and I'm like, Maybe this isn't Freya enough.
I can't. Not Freya enough. Oh my gosh. Not using it like a verb.
Honestly, that's the only way that I can describe it. Where it's like, I even downloaded some new Procreate pins off of Gumroad because I needed to find like I needed to get a glow, but I needed the glow to almost look more ethereal. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was on Gumroad like I need a different glow. I need a different glow. And then I was watching this tutorial like, let's change the intensity of the glow. Girl, please. That picture turned into something entirely different because I lost courage like midway through the drawing. So
Oh no, not lost
hopefully
courage.
by the end of this, I will at least have a sketch of like at least something. It's either her or Brandy. Those are the two that in my mind, I'm like, I just want to draw one of them.
You should start with
Or
Sarah and then that'll build your
see,
confidence.
that problem is I can't.
You're like, nope.
Like I wrote down the descriptions of Sarah, I did, but I would make Sarah look cooler than what she is, and she doesn't deserve that yet.
I understand. I understand. You're like, no.
You do not deserve to be on my pencil.
Oh my gosh.
Also, Chelsea, I would love to draw Jack, but here's the thing. I just recently started drawing men. Men are hard to draw.
They are really hard to draw. Like from what I've heard. I'm not an artist, but I've heard that.
I've gotten the chin. I started really working on arms. But we know Jack got body. Mm-hmm. I haven't figured out how to draw muscles in the correct proportions yet for a man.
It's tough.
He sounds beautiful. That's the other thing. I did, however, start drawing locks. So we're slowly working up there.
I can't.
By the end of book 3, we might really get something. But right now, the only enemy to me drawing fan art is myself.
Baby steps.
You know, we'll get there.
Maybe start with, I'm trying to think of a character you should start with, what's her face? That bitch we don't like. Najee.
How do I put this? I'm mad at Najee because of what she did to Brandy. But like physicality wise, I feel like she looks like a badass bitch.
But that's what I'm saying. Like you start with the character that's not as intimidating.
Yeah.
And not as overwhelming. And then you work your way up.
I did think about doing the techie. What's her name? The one that told Noble come around here to kill you.
Yeah.
I did think about drawing her just because she was standing on business and I really appreciated her.
Or even Xena.
Oh, that's true. Because in my mind, I told you, I imagine Xena to be an iteration, one of the middle iterations of Storm back when she was one of the queens in the comics in Africa.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I imagine the vibes that she's giving me. So.
Oh, they said that Jack's back muscles are below the dust jacket of the limited edition.
Currently, somebody is borrowing my limited edition, so I might text them and be like, take a picture of the dust jacket for me.
Right? Yes, Tara. That was her name.
Tara, yes.
Tara said, bye, ho.
I'm still Team Tara to this day.
To this day. Oh, my gosh.
I want more people to read the book, so when I tell them to stop being a Sarah and be a Tara, it would make sense.
Cute.
To them.
That's cute.
Right?
I like it.
It's like, that actually deserves to be on a bookmark.
It does. It does. I love it.
It's like, don't be a Sarah, be a Tara.
I can't.
Okay, well, that's all I got.
Right? You're like, and I'm done.
Thank y'all for listening to my TED Talk. I'm going to go draw.
Yes.
Well, actually, no, I lied. I'm going to go hot pot on Palia, and then I might go draw.
Well, do what you must. I will probably be eating ice cream, but this was an amazing. Oh, hold on. Fun fact: she's supposed to be in this book. No, not Tara. Not making the cut.
Ooh, don't do this to me, Chelsea.
You need to have some deleted scenes.
Want to design the book for the third book? Listen, let me get over my subconscious fears of fan art.
Okay, Brittany, as your representative, yes, she does. We'll be in touch. We'll be in touch. We'll be in touch.
Shut up,
Brittany. Shut up. Shut. We'll be in touch. All right. With that being said, that is it for tonight's discussion. Thank you so much for joining us. It was a great time. You can watch the playback if you're just joining. And we will see you on Tuesday at 7:30 Central and 8:30 Eastern for our next reading sprint.
Happy reading.
Happy reading.
Bye.
Bye.